If you had one ET species to say have dinner with, which one would it be?
Oh my gosh. Um, the Pleiadians. They are amazing, and it's not just because they're the most human-like. It's because it's a personal thing for me. I feel like they have communicated with me more. I feel more connected to the Pleiadians, and I just love their energy. I love their frequency. They're easy to talk to, and they talk less in riddles and more in direct conversation. So, but that's probably a personal thing for me in the way my mind perceives things. But I think mostly because I've been in contact with Pleiadians the most, and I feel more comfortable around them. Not that I don't feel comfortable around other ones, but I feel more connected.
What has been the most challenging part of integrating all of this over the years, emotionally, physically, personally? What's helped you stay grounded, or what practices or things do you do to kind of not, go nuts over it, I guess, because for some people it could be too much information and they can't ground that information. So
Yeah.
what do you do?
Some people like us unfortunately can't handle it, and so it's like the ETs hope for the best for type 2 hybrids, and they hold our hand as much as they can, but they can't do everything for us. But unfortunately, sometimes the information gets crossed, the wires get crossed, ego becomes too big, and we go into psychosis. It's a real problem. And for that, I'll get into me, but for that, remember to stay grounded. Think logically. Use your intuition. Use your heart. Talk to someone. Just stay grounded. If you're given information or feel like something is true, don't believe it right away. Put it into a gray box. And if it comes up again from somewhere else, look for signs, look for connections. That's what I do. My brain looks for connections. And that's what's helped me stay grounded and stay in control of the situation. So I can go out and like believe everything that I hear, but I don't. It keeps me focused. It keeps me like a information control is what it is. So you need to have that information control, but not so much that it wouldn't allow change to come into the system, but stay grounded. It's very important. What I do is I love xenobiology, astrobiology, same thing, speculative biology. I love quantum physics. I love all that stuff. So what I do in my free time, when I do get free time, I work on projects that involve those things. I write papers, and the AI helps me write papers and on different astrobiology and theoretical physics and equations that could like bridge the gap between spirituality and physics and everything. So I like to explore those, and that's what keeps me grounded. And I love art, any kind of art. I love singing. I sing light language music. I'll give you a sample of that here when we're done. Light language is the language of the universe, and it helps me stay grounded. It's the flow of energy from source into your body and out your mouth. And source consciousness is everything, is everyone. All souls in existence are all connected to source consciousness. We're all God. We are the painter and the painting.
At some point, you chose to step into a public role as opposed to keeping all of these experiences private. And you might have covered it a little bit when you said you got a vision to create the UEI.
Mm-hmm.
So what helps you to make that decision, especially knowing the stigma that's out there when people say, I'm a UFO experiencer?
Well, my whole life I've been bullied. I've been called names. I've been ridiculed. I've always been the oddball out, as so are a lot of other type 2 hybrids. We just kind of stick out like a sore thumb. A lot of us are into science and biology and aliens, and of course we get picked on. So I was used to being the oddball out, and I got to the point in my life way before this where I didn't care what people thought about me. And I think that kind of hardened me. Not hardened me, but helped me understand people's psychology, how they act, why they act. It's all about perspective. So now when people attack me or say these things, I know it's not from a place of hatred. It's from a place of not understanding. It's from a place of they come from different backgrounds. They don't have the whole information. And we can't judge them because they judge us. We have to understand what true forgiveness is. True forgiveness comes from understanding and putting yourself in other people's shoes and having unconditional love. True forgiveness is not forgiving one person and not the other. You have to forgive unconditionally across the board. And this also goes, I know I'm kind of going off into something else, but this also goes along with contacting extraterrestrials. If you want to contact extraterrestrials, you need to unconditionally love yourself and others. Dissolve your fear of ETs and forgive yourself and forgive others and just work on yourself. And if you want a friendship with them, imagine you're wanting a friendship with someone and if you're wanting that friendship with the ETs to get something in return, they're not going to want to be friends with you. You have to be open. You have to be pure and loving and just say, I'm here. I love you. I just love to talk to you. No strings attached. And just send that love out into the universe.
You said that you could give us some direction on if we do want to communicate with the ETs, like reach out to them as friends. I know that Dr. Greer has a CE5, contact app and all of that, and it's through meditation and higher vibration and all of that. What recommendations do you have, or how do you teach people to connect with the ETs?
So my process is probably the most simplest process you'll see in the whole phenomenon. The key point to remember before I teach you this is to remember that no matter what process you're doing, whatever procedures you're doing, keep love at the center. Keep unconditional love at the center and grounding. You have to have some grounding and fill your heart with love and dissolve fear. Those are the three components that you need to have when you're doing any procedure, whatever you have. So my procedure, it consists of, you can do this by yourself or a group of people. Start working on yourself. Like I said earlier, love yourself, love others, forgive yourself, forgive others, understand forgiveness, and work on your problems. Dissolve fear. To dissolve fear, I recommend imagining them in a good light, like daydream about them doing amazing things with you, like having a bike ride or going to the movies or whatever. Just like reprogram your mind and put them in different settings, because Hollywood has really twisted people's minds about ETs. So kind of try to reprogram your mind in that way. And then the actual procedures that I do and I teach is that you can do this with a group of people or by yourself, but make sure that you're all on the same page, that you've all been doing those things that I talked about. And you can sit down or stand, it doesn't matter, whatever's comfortable for you. Close your eyes. And anybody listening to this anywhere, any time of the day, close your eyes and do this with me if you want, as long as you're not driving. But close your eyes. And then I want you to listen. I want you to listen to all the sounds around you. Pick out one sound at a time and make a connection with that sound. And know that that is you. That there is no separation between you and that thing making that sound. And do all the sounds and then put it all together. And then I want you to open your eyes and I want you to look around and see everything around you and feel that connection between you and everything around you, and know that there is no separation between you and everything around you, because everything is one. And then once you get that in your mind, just kind of imagine going out bigger and bigger. You are the planets, you are the solar system, you are the galaxy, you are the universe, you are all of reality, you are source, you are God. Everyone is God, everyone is connected. Feel that love, feel that connection. And then I want you to feel that love into your heart. Feel all the things that you love, everything, everyone, anything that makes you happy in life, that brings you to that highest point of excitement. Fill your heart with that love. And then I want you to think of how much love you have for the extraterrestrial, or how much you just love all living beings. And then I want you to send it out into the universe. So imagination is creation. Imagine it. When you're imagining sending it out, you are literally sending out your aura, your energy. This telepathic communication comes from the heart. Send out the love into the universe and say, I love you. I would love to see any being that's positive and for my greater good. to come into my area. It doesn't have to be those exact words, just the intention. Say only positive beings are allowed in my area. I am here. I love you. I'm so grateful for you. Whether you show up or not, I don't want anything in return. Just send out that love unconditionally and have a good time. And if you're having a good time with no strings attached, you're going to eventually see something. Now, you can do similar procedures before bed. Just do the grounding, the love, send it out and say, I'd love to see you in my dreams. Please contact me. I'm ready for communication. But again, you have to start working on yourself, being in service to others by making people feel good about themselves and loving themselves. Encourage people to love themselves and love yourself. It's all connected. The more you love yourself and love others, the more easier it's going to be for you to contact ETs and for them to contact you in return.
Thank you. That's perfect. And it's so in line with where I come from the Good Vibes TV perspective. I like to use the map of consciousness scale that Dr. David R. Hawkins used, that has fear on the bottom, the scale of emotions, fear on the bottom, love basically on top. And the whole idea of good vibes is getting into those higher vibrations of love, peace, joy, happiness, abundance, and living in that space.
That's right.
But at the time when I started the show, I didn't realize, to me, then you thrive. But now it seems like there's even, once you get to those energies and experience those things, now you're opening yourself up to even a whole nother level of consciousness and connection with our galactic family. Because I like to call them our star family, like the Native Americans talked about, or their star people or star family. And by just calling them different names, then we are inviting them in and not having that fear. So so thank you for doing that. Let's talk about the United Experiences Initiative. You mentioned it a little earlier, but tell us a little bit more about that and how people can be part of that, especially if they're maybe the type 2s or people that are type 1 that want to open up their psychic ability and telepathy to communicate with the ETs.
The United Experiencers Initiative at this current moment is a 501c3 pending. I have to say that for legal reasons, but it is a nonprofit. So I established the United Experiencers Initiative, UEI, for experiencers. At first, it's going to be focused on experiencers because we are here to help humanity. And we've had experiences. Now, the main thing, we are disclosure. Okay. Of course, parts of disclosure is going to come from the government, nitty gritty, physical answers, crafts, bodies, and stuff. Experiencers hold the truths that people need to hear. People need to start telling their stories, and because now is the time to talk about it. We're here. The UEI is here to dissolve the stigma, to encourage people to come out, to spread love and unity, to help the planet and to help each other. We are here to help educate you on what we've experienced and to help you bring peace and love into people's lives. And I know there's negative experiences too. So we're also going to provide resources like lists and resources for people to go to find places for help, to help you understand what happened. A lot of experiencers, like a big percentage, like in the 90% range, that go through regression therapy, remember something positive from a negative experience. So it's really important that you really, when you're ready to really dive into it, to find the answers and to really figure out if it was an actual negative experience. But I'm not downplaying anybody's experiences at all. But the UVI is important because it's one cell in a body, like an organic cell, that's playing a part in disclosure. There are many cells working together. The UEI is giving experiencers that backbone, that podium, that validity that people can say, hey, I'm part of the UEI. There's millions of us out there and we are real. So it gives them the courage to be part of something that's to help humanity. So a lot of us have had experiences where they have given us information about disasters and natural disasters and the planet going awry. And what do we do with that? Right? There's little groups here and there around the world. Yeah, there's little, those are important for experiencers. But now is the time to take all those little groups and put it into one unit, so we can actually take action to start helping people, to encourage them to come together as a community, clean up the environment, socialize, have dinners in the community, all kinds of different stuff. And then further down in the road, we're going I'm going to have to do some more paperwork to get it legalized to be able to do this, but we're going to try to get a bill passed to protect experiencers currently and in the future from discrimination in the workplace and the public sector. So that's going to be important. And we're also going to create a school system, or school systems, or a system with different schools around the world to teach psychic abilities, remote viewing, telepathy, all these amazing things to help humanity unlock what's inside of them, to get you to the point where we can have a beautiful city on Earth, with like everyone living in peace and harmony. And that's the world that we want, the Galactic Federation wants. And I think that's what a lot of people want, and they're ready for a change. And you can see the change happening around you. Everything is happening at the right time, all in different directions, just meeting up. So the UEI is here. If you hear this message right now, we are here, we support you, and we love you. And you're not alone. We are Disclosure.
I'm going to put the website, theuei.org. And if people want to reach out to you, they can email you, right? Nadalee at theuei.org. And is it okay to put your phone number on the screen as well?
Yes, that's my business number. starseedgenetics.com if you want to participate in the genetic research, or if you want to donate for the genetic research, that would be helpful.
So tell us again about starseedsgenetic.com.
So Starseed Genetics is the project that Max Rempel is doing, and the UEI is helping him like advertise and get the word out. So we're collaborating with him, and it's a genetic project to find the type 2 hybrid DNA inside of us. Find the alien genetic markers that are inside of the individual that the mother and father doesn't necessarily have. So we're going to be testing the mother and the father, and then the child. I say child, but grown individual. You have to be 18 years or older to participate. But we're looking for genetic markers that are not in the parents. And then when we find those markers, we can do more research and kind of go back, but that's further down the road. It's a very important research, and I think it's going to be a really important part of Disclosure. And once we get enough funds to do the research, and Max is amazing. I have to give him props. He's an amazing geneticist, amazing guy. He's helped me a lot with the UEI, and I really appreciate him. So please check him out at starseedgenetics.com. Check out the project. You guys will love it. It's a lot of stuff. It's amazing. Time to be alive, and things are going to change on this planet very soon. People are starting to open up. And one more thing, labels. When people talk about labels, when it comes to ETs, people like to put ETs in different boxes and label them different things. Just start dissolving your labels. I know labels are important for humans, but sometimes they restrict us. So a being may look like an angel, it may look like this or that, but just remember, deep down, they're all just conscious beings. They're all just entities that come from different places, different dimensions, different planets, and they do have underwater bases and bases underground as well. They come on and off planet. They come from everywhere, and they come in all different sizes and different shapes, but again, they're conscious beings. Remember that.
So what would you say is the most unexpected gift or blessing that's come from your journey from these encounters?
Oh my. My telepathic abilities recently have increased to the point of startling people. But I love being telepathic because it helps me gather information. When I'm talking to someone, I can get what they're thinking quicker, and I can go ahead and analyze it and answer them before they say stuff. So it helps me break more efficient, and I'm always about more efficiency. So I love being more telepathic. I love remote viewing. My remote viewing was really, really good, but strangely enough, my remote viewing abilities kind of went down, like far off remote viewing, and my close-up remote viewing has gotten better, like on-the-spot remote viewing, different things like that. And my telepathy is risen as well. So the more contact that happens with people like us, the more psychic abilities get opened up and unlocked within our genetic code, and it allows our souls to be more that way. I love. Okay, this tops that. Sorry, the love, the ability. That's what's the most amazing thing is that I got out of all of this is being able to love at a higher degree, to where I can say I love you and I mean it to entirely everything in existence, all beings, every piece of matter in the universe. I say I love you and I feel it radiate. I have a more intense amount of love, and it's something that there's no words for. And I hope that everyone can feel this one day.
One video I've come across on YouTube, and when you say, it's all about love, some people are saying that Jesus was actually an alien. Have any comments on that?
Yes, so there have been a lot of people like us, type 2 hybrids, that have existed throughout history. Back in the day, we were less common, and the DNA was more concentrated. The alien DNA was more concentrated because there was less of us. We had to do more jobs and be more efficient. So Jesus was one of us. So was Buddha. So was all the other spiritual leaders in pivotal times in history. We've been teaching the same stuff. Reincarnation is real. There is a life after death. And it's amazing. Love is the key to everything. Consciousness is everywhere. We've been teaching the same thing, but the problem is humanity twists the subject sometimes. And Jesus wanted us to follow in his ways, not follow him. People started worshiping him, but he didn't want people to worship him. He wanted people to live in the way like Jesus. So he said that we are one with the Father, and they were like, "Oh, you're one with the Father," and then it gets all mixed up from there on. So just look inward and know that everything is God. But Jesus, yes, Jesus was a type 2 hybrid extraterrestrial, in my opinion.
Good to know. Good to know. Yeah, and I have no problem with that. I mean, personally, but for the hardcore Christians, to come to that realization, I know it's a big stretch for them. Tell us a little bit about your work with Citizens for Disclosure. It's the activist arm of the New Paradigm Institute. I'm also one of the co-leaders for the state of Florida. I think you're a volunteer, but I just wanted to plug them a little bit, let people know what you think is important for people to get involved with it and that kind of thing.
Thank you so much for bringing that up. I was going to bring that up actually at some point. Thank you for reminding me. So yes, Citizens for Disclosure is an amazing, amazing organization, nonprofit that is doing amazing things for disclosure. Danny Sheehan is amazing, absolutely great gentleman. I've had dinner with him and he's just a delight. And we talked about the CFD, and so the CFD, Citizens for Disclosure, was created to help get the files from the government, to get the information that they've been hiding from us, the stuff that we deserve to know, because they've been literally taking our tax money and throwing it into black projects, back engineer technology that they've stolen from ETs. That's a whole nother topic, but of morality of should we use that technology even if it comes out and whatever. But anyway, Citizens for Disclosure is important because they encourage congressmen or congresswomen, congresspeople, to vote on a bill, the disclosure bill, to help get that information out. So please check out the newparadigminstitute.org if you guys want to be a part of the CFD as well. The UEI, the United Experiences Initiative, fully supports the CFD, and I hope in the near future, that we'll be doing more collaborations between the CFD and the UEI. And we are literally doing the same job on a different frequency. They're doing the physical frequency, like the technology, the files, and the stuff that's been hidden from you physically on the planet. The UEI is teaching you how to connect with ETs and the importance of spirituality inside of you, and doing active, good thinking, having good mental health, spiritual health, you know, and we're not medical doctors. For legal reasons, I have to say that the UEI is not affiliated with anything medical.
Now, I understand that you, besides the website, the UEI.org website, you also are on TikTok. So I'm going to put that up on the screen. Do you want to talk a little bit about your TikTok channel and what people can learn and gain from being part of that?
Yes. So on my TikTok, I share my ET stories. Some ET stories that I haven't shared here. I have others, but I share all my stories there. And I teach people about source consciousness, love, and how to connect ETs. I usually go over the same information almost every day or when I can live stream. But sometimes we have experiencers on the show and they tell their experiences. So we're going to start doing that more often. I do these live streams at night and I call them down. I do the procedures that we talked about earlier in this podcast, and they come down from the sky and from the mountains and they show themselves. And we've seen amazing stuff on our shows. And just like Chris Bledsoe, we can summon them. We can call them to us if we have that right frequency and that love. Everyone can do this if you know how. And I've taught you how on this podcast. So it's all about love. It's all about that openness and unconditional love.
I was going to ask if you had anything else to share. Or if there's any message from the ETs that you would like to share. I think the whole show today has been about that. But if there's any last comments that you'd like to make about that, please do.
I do want to share my last abduction experience. I want to top it off with that because I think it's an important one for certain types of experiencers out there, if that's okay. In the middle of the night, my body was vibrated. This was a physical abduction, and I started floating out of my bed. And I was like 2 or 3 inches above my bed, then I black out. And then I find myself floating in this dark room at like an angle. And I'm kind of like, what is going on here? Kind of freaking out. And this giant Tootsie Roll, like a giant elongated Tootsie Roll, come down from the ceiling, and like a robot arm, but it was like organic, and it stops about a foot and a half from my chest, and it shoots tubes into my chest. And the arm was kind of like a mustardy brown. The tubes are really like light khaki colored, and they were like ribbed looking, and they just a bunch of them shot into my chest. And I started screaming. It was so much pain. I started screaming. I was freaking out. But I couldn't really move, but I was floating there. So I was just like, ah. And then I blacked out, and then I woke up in my bed, and then I was screaming and sweating, and I was like, oh my God, what is going on? But then when I calmed down, I realized that I could breathe better. I was like, oh my God, they cleared my lungs. There was something wrong with my lungs that I could take more air in. So when I got to work that day, I started coughing. I was like, what is going on? And turns out there was an exhaust leak at my work, that they weren't properly venting the exhaust in my area. And I heard them telepathically in my mind. They said, we cleared your lungs because you've been breathing the stuff in, and you need to start wearing a mask now because you're more sensitive to it now. And I was like, wow, okay. So I had to wear a mask in that department from now on. But the most important thing to take away from this story is the experience may have seemed negative. And maybe they let me remember that, or made me remember that, to make that connection so I can understand why they did it, for me to take care of myself. So just because you have a negative experience doesn't mean it may actually be negative. There's other things that are going on behind the scenes. So do regression therapy. Not that I recovered that from regression, but do regression therapy and understand why certain people have experiences. But other than that, I want to leave you on this. Everyone is capable of love or hate. It's up to you to decide how you live your life. And I just want to encourage you to do the right thing. Be a better person. Be the better person in the situation. When people send you hate, don't accept the hate. Send them love back instead. Turn the other cheek, so to speak. I love you so much. I really do. And the ETs love you so much. We love you. And we hope the best for you. And that's all we can do. We can guide you to the water, but we can't make you drink. And I just hope that you drink the water, so to speak. I love you so much. And just start loving yourself and loving others, because that's where it starts. Let's make the world a better place.
Thank you, Natalie. I appreciate that so much. And I love you too. And I send out love to everyone, all sentient beings, all beings, because that is where it's at. That's the answer. So thank you so much for this opportunity.
Thank you so much, Leslie. Thank you for having me today. It's been such a treat. And always stay bright and stay amazing. Love yourself and love others.
Thank you for joining me on Galactic Good Vibes. My intention for this series is to create a safe, grounded space where experiencers can share their stories without fear or stigma. And this is where we can meet disclosure with clarity, compassion, and discernment. If this conversation resonated with you, please take a moment to integrate what you've heard. Stay grounded, trust your inner knowing, and remember that awareness expands best in a field of calm, not fear. Until next time, keep your feet on the ground, your vibration high, and your heart open. Peace out, everyone.